Hey guys, it's Brett with SLC Flips. On today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how I prepare my video game consoles and get them sent into Amazon FBA. As an FBA seller, I get asked all the time, kind of my process, what I do, what it looks like. So today, I'm going to take you through my step-by-step process on how I prepare video game consoles to send into Amazon. Let's walk through the basic supplies that you're going to need to send in a console to Amazon. First off is boxes. So the 14 by 12 by 6 is a little bit bigger box. I like these for like Xbox 360s, PlayStation 4s, and bigger consoles. Everything should fit in there just fine. I buy boxes that have pre-perforations on them, so you can kind of cut the box down to size if you need to. If not, you can also buy one of these box resizing tools. They come in handy for sure. So for smaller consoles, I use this 14.5 by 8.75 by 6 box. It's a little bit smaller. This is better for like Nintendo Wii's, PlayStation 2 Slims, PS2 Fats actually fit in there really well. So for the smaller consoles, that is the box that I go to. Next, just some packing tape. Elastic bands I like to use just for cord management, for any AV cables, power supplies, stuff like that. I always like to make sure the cords are nice and organized. And then, of course, I use the suffocation warning bags for all my cables and controllers. I feel like that just gives the buyer a nice presentation. It looks a little bit more professional. And if you are going to send something in a bag to Amazon, it does have to have the suffocation warning on it. So fair warning there. And then, of course, my very favorite, bubble wrap. Now I'm going to jump in the other room. I'm going to go grab a console. I don't know which one I'm going to do yet, but we'll go grab one and I will show you exactly how I package these things up. Let's go. This is the bundle that I picked out. This is an Xbox 360 with a 250 gigabyte hard drive, a Kinect sensor, Kinect Adventures game, controller, cables, all that good stuff. For this bundle, controller, Kinect sensor, power supply, HDMI cable I always include, and then the Kinect Adventures game. This is the Xbox 360 console with the 250 gigabyte hard drive. For this one, I'm going to use the 14-12-6 box. This is what it looks like made up. I'm going to set that aside. The first thing I do when I'm prepping a console is test it, obviously. You got to make sure it's working, test all the functionality, make sure that it's a nice working console. Then I will go ahead and clean everything. I use Clorox wipes. Use the cleaner of your choice. Don't use anything crazy or harsh or abrasive. You can scratch the stuff, but I just use Clorox wipes, make sure everything is nice and clean and presentable. Now I'm going to start getting my cords all prepped. The HDMI is already prepped, ready to go, so I will disassemble this and make sure I've got everything separated out. I just kind of bunch the cables up like so, and then grab my rubber bands and rubber band everything up. So it's a nice clean presentation for the buyer. Same thing with this side of it. These ones are pretty stiff and kind of hard to work with, but grab another elastic band, get it ready to go. So now I've got all my cables, my power supply, everything ready to go into the poly bag. So this is a 12 by 9 poly bag that I'm using for the power supply, and I'm going to put the AV cable in there as well. Get it set in there, AV cables, the other power cable. Peel this little thing off, and boom, that's ready to go, and I can set that aside. Controller, make sure it's nice and clean, make sure it's including the battery, and then go ahead and just wrap it up. I usually use 2 sheets of bubble for a controller. Get that nice and tight, get some tape. I usually tape down both sides up, so it helps kind of protect the joysticks a little bit. Shipping to Amazon can be a little bit treacherous. It's UPS shipping, so just make sure that everything's nice and protected. So once I get that taped up like that, I'll throw it into another poly bag. And remember, the suffocation labels are important when you're sending in anything with a poly bag. So there's our controller in there, and we'll set that one aside. With the game, it's not the end of the world, but I like to make sure it's, you know, nice and clean and presentable. Obviously, make sure the disc is in good condition and works. And then you don't have to do this, but I throw a poly bag on the game just because I feel like it just presents well to the buyer. For the Connect sensor, I just make sure that I've got it in some bubble. I usually get 2 sheets. Make sure the cord is outside the bubble. I don't like to wrap the cord in it. It just makes it super bulky, and that doesn't really need to be protected. So get that wrapped up. Grab a little piece of tape. And set that one aside. That'll be ready to go in the box. And last but not least, we've got the console. I usually get like 5 pieces of bubble just to make sure it's nice and protected. This is obviously the most critical piece of the whole system, so I like to make sure that it is nice and protected. Get that wrapped up nice, throw a piece of tape on it. And then I like to go in both directions. So now I'll turn it this way, grab some more bubble, and do a couple wraps going this way as well, just to make sure that all of this stuff is nice and protected. Like I say, this stuff is just plastic and can be prone to chipping and being damaged in the mail. So a couple more pieces of bubble there and tape it up. Final step, we've got everything bubble wrapped, poly bagged, and ready to go into the box. So grab our console, set it in the corner like that. We've got a nice space here, right for the Connect sensor. Set that down in there like that. I usually tuck this cord into the side of the console just to kind of fill that gap a little bit. Then we can put our power supply, our game, and our controller in. Nice and tight. I usually put a little bit of extra bubble in here just to make sure that nothing's moving around. Then we can go ahead, close it on up. Few pieces of tape here. And it's packaged. Once we've got everything boxed up, I went and jumped on the computer and I printed out this label. This is not something that you have to do. I just like it kind of more for my workflow, but it also presents nicely to the customer. Get on my Exceller list, put it in, and print out. This is the label that Amazon will use to scan it to see what is in there. And then this is something that I didn't talk about in the stuff that you're going to need, but this is a ready to ship sticker. So I buy these just in bulk on Amazon, and what this sticker does is lets Amazon know not to open this box. So this box is exactly what the customer is going to receive. So it lets Amazon know not to open this box. There's not other smaller things in here that they need to separate. So I just slap this on the box like that, and once I have several of them put together like this, I will put them in wherever box the Amazon tells me to put it. So in my software, depending on what I have, it has me ship them to different warehouses. So I will show you one last step on putting multiple consoles in one big box. So once you've got several consoles that are all going to the same fulfillment warehouse, I get these Home Depot medium boxes, and I put 3 consoles to one box. They seem to fit nicely, and it's worked out really great for me. But you can really use any box here that fits your shipment. It doesn't have to be this specific box at all. Now I've got 3 of the smaller boxes inside this medium Home Depot box. Once I do that, I will actually just get my box resizing tool, and I will cut down this box to fit this perfectly. I do usually put a little bit of void fill. As you can see, there's a little bit of gaps around the corner. I just stuffed some craft paper down in there to make sure that it's nice and tight. Another pro tip here is do not use bubble wrap to do box fill or void fill. You can do the big pillows, but do not do bubble wrap. They don't like it. They want you to pack and do void fill with brown craft paper. I guess it doesn't have to be brown, but with craft paper. So now it's finished. I've got 3 consoles in this Home Depot box ready to go to an Amazon warehouse. The only thing that you'll have to do after this is they have an Amazon label that lets Amazon know what's in the box, and then you'll have a shipping label that goes on it, so UPS knows where to send the box. And that's it. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking out this video. As always, if you guys have any questions about anything that we talked about today, any of the supplies that I use, please feel free to reach out, leave it in the comments, hit me up on any of my social media channels. I'm always happy to help out other resellers getting started. So with that being said, go ahead and give me a like, a subscribe, and I greatly appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one.